Love is a sacred fire, not to be possessed, only to be experienced. Try to contain it, and it slips through your fingers. The ancient Stoics, hardened by discipline and softened by wisdom, understood this long before poets tried to bind love in rhyme. They saw it not as something to claim, but something to honor. Everything external, no matter how close, is not truly ours. Not a companion, not a lover, not even a child. The universe grants us people as it grants us sunrises, briefly, beautifully, and without a promise of return. The Stoic does not resist this truth. He accepts it, and in doing so, becomes free. But freedom does not mean detachment. It does not mean coldness. The Stoic heart is not frozen. It burns, but it burns without consuming. It knows joy without addiction, affection without demand. This is not indifference, this is clarity. To love someone in a Stoic way is not to demand they stay, but to rejoice while they are near. It is to say, "You are not mine, but I cherish this time, this moment, this shared breath." It is to walk beside another soul without trying to shape its path. Most people love with chains, soft chains, gilded chains, but chains nonetheless. They say, "You are mine," as if another human being can be possessed. But to the Stoic, this illusion only creates suffering. The more we cling, the more we fear. The more we fear, the more we try to control, and in trying to control love, we often kill it. The Stoic loves without needing. He does not seek to fill a hole inside himself with another. He has faced his own emptiness, stared into its depths, and made peace with it. He knows that all love added to him is a gift, not a remedy. He does not ask, "Will you always be here?" He asks, "Are you here now?" That is enough, for what is fear of loss, if not fear that we are not whole without what might be taken? But the Stoic is whole. He is not a beggar in the marketplace of affection. He gives love as the sun gives warmth, not asking if the earth will return it, only knowing that giving is his nature. And when love ends, as all things do, when death comes, or departure, or indifference, the Stoic does not crumble. He mourns, yes. He may even weep. But he does not rage at the world for doing what the world always does, change. He says, "It was not owed to me, it was given, and I gave myself in return." There is dignity in this love. There is strength in loving someone fully, knowing they might leave, and doing it anyway. This is not recklessness, this is courage. To fear loss is to already lose. To fear betrayal is to live in doubt. To fear abandonment is to turn love into dependency. The Stoic knows nothing is promised, and so he holds each moment like a rare coin, knowing it may be the last, but never clinging in dread. Love, when rooted in Stoic soil, becomes something quiet and vast. It is not loud, it does not perform, it does not possess. It simply is. To love while knowing you cannot keep. This is the essence of Stoic strength. The world teaches us to grasp, to bind, to possess. But Stoicism teaches us the opposite, to hold lightly, to accept what comes, and to release what must go without bitterness. A true Stoic does not expect permanence from the impermanent. He understands that even the most radiant moment fades, even the most profound connection can be broken, not through malice, but through nature. What begins must end. This is not tragedy, it is rhythm. And so, while others build their hearts like prisons, locking people inside with vows, with conditions, with fear, the Stoic builds his heart like a sanctuary, a place where others may rest, not where they are confined. He knows that love is not measured by how long someone stays, but by how deeply we meet while they are here. Duration is not meaning, presence is meaning, awareness is meaning, and acceptance of all that comes and all that leaves is the highest form of love. The one who fears loss is already lost. He lives not in love, but in anxiety. He sees his beloved not as a person, but as a lifeline. And when that person pulls away, even for a moment, he begins to drown in his own insecurity. But the Stoic remains calm. His anchor is not another, but himself. His peace does not depend on someone else's presence. He is grateful for closeness and unshaken by absence. When love fades or departs or shifts into silence, the Stoic does not collapse. He does not rage or beg. He simply nods to the passing moment and says, You were never mine. You were with me, and now you are gone. That is enough. For him, love is not possession, but participation. It is not control, but connection. It is not fear, but freedom. The one who truly loves with a Stoic heart does not try to force affection. He does not chase. He does not manipulate. He does not promise what cannot be promised. He simply gives, fully, clearly, calmly. And in doing so, he experiences a purer kind of intimacy, untouched by the poisons of need and control. This love has no cage. It does not say, "Stay with me, or I will break." It says, "Walk with me, as long as our paths align. And when they part, I will walk on and wish you well." There is no desperation in Stoic love. There is devotion without demand. There is presence without possession. There is beauty even in goodbye. Because the Stoic understands, to lose someone is not to lose yourself. The grief may come. It is allowed. But grief is not destruction. It is the echo of something meaningful, not the end of meaning itself. And when sorrow visits, the Stoic greets it like an old acquaintance. "I see you," he says. "You come because something mattered. I will feel you. But you do not own me. This is not coldness, it is clarity, and clarity is love's true companion. There is a kind of love that does not bind but liberates. It does not say, 'You complete me,' but rather, 'You walk beside me, and I am honored.' This is the love that the Stoic cultivates, a love grounded not in dependence, but in mutual respect, rooted not in fear, but in virtue. For the Stoic, love is not a transaction. It is not an escape from loneliness. It is not a cure for inner emptiness. Love, instead, is an act of will, an extension of character. It is the expression of inner harmony, not a plea for completion. He does not seek in others what he has not built in himself. The man who cannot sit with his own thoughts will never love in freedom. He will only cling, demand, and despair. But the Stoic, having walked through the silence of his own soul, emerges whole, and therefore capable of loving without fear. True love does not arise from need. It arises from abundance. When you are at peace within, when your soul is upright and your heart disciplined, love becomes a gift, not a grasp. This kind of love is rare. It does not shout. It does not seek attention. It does not make promises it cannot keep. It is quiet, steady, and deeply alive. The Stoic does not ask, "What can I take from this person?" but "What can I offer them without losing myself?" He does not try to be everything to someone. He allows space for breath, for growth, for change. He loves not to possess, but to support, not to entangle, but to uplift. And the one who loves him knows they are free, free to go, free to return, free to evolve. There are no threats, no ultimatums, no cages lined with roses. Love, when it becomes freedom, loses nothing of its depth. In fact, it deepens. For when we know we are not bound by force, we are free to choose. And choice, when made freely, holds more power than any vow spoken in fear. The Stoic embraces the truth that even the strongest love may fade. People change, hearts change, nature unfolds without asking permission. And yet he loves anyway. Not because he denies this truth, but because he accepts it, and chooses to love all the more because of it. He does not resist change. He does not curse the shifting tides of the soul. He flows with them, like a great river winding through the seasons, never stagnant, never grasping, always moving forward. And in this forward motion he remains rooted, in values, in clarity, in presence. Love is not an escape for him, it is a path. And he walks it without illusion. What you cannot lose, you cannot fear. And what you love without fear becomes sacred. The Stoic lives with eyes turned toward eternity, but feet planted firmly in the present. He understands that time is a stream, swift, silent, irreversible. To love within that stream is to love with presence, not with possession. It is to see each moment not as a promise, but as a gift. And to love someone truly is to meet them fully in the now. "Let us love," says the Stoic, "as though we may never love again, not out of desperation, but out of reverence. For nothing is promised, not tomorrow, not the next hour, not even the next breath. We are here, now, together. That is everything. Love that clings to a future dies in the present. Love that demands assurance forgets to feel. But Stoic love breathes in the moment, and in that moment becomes timeless. Even loss, when viewed through the Stoic lens, changes its shape. What once felt like death becomes transformation. What once looked like betrayal becomes transition. The Stoic sees not endings, but continuations in a different form. What you were to me, he says, will remain even if you are no longer here. There is no bitterness in this love, no resentment, no tally of what was given or taken. It does not demand to be repaid. It does not keep score. It simply gives because giving is in its nature. And yet, the Stoic is not naive. He is not blind to the pain that love can carry, but he meets that pain with dignity. He suffers without collapse. He feels without losing the ground beneath him. He says, "This hurts, and still I would not have chosen otherwise. I do not curse what I have lost. I bless what I have known." Even in heartbreak, he stands tall, not because he is made of stone, but because he has learned to bend like the tree in the wind. Flexible, resilient, alive. This is the essence of Stoic love. It does not resist the nature of things. It does not cling to illusions. It honors reality, no matter how painful, and in that honor finds a deeper beauty. To love in this way is to walk through life with open hands, to let others enter and leave without closing the door in fear, to say, "You are welcome here," knowing they may not stay, and to love them even more for that. It is a love stripped of pride, of drama, of possessiveness. It does not seek to bind, only to share. It does not ask, "Will you be mine?" but instead offers, "Here I am," freely, fully, without fear. And when the beloved goes, as all things go, the Stoic does not fall into ruin. He remains changed but unbroken. He walks on with a quieter heart and a deeper soul and a memory that warms rather than wounds. For what is life but a series of meetings and partings? And what is love, if not the courage to give yourself fully, knowing the end will come? The Stoic does not avoid this truth, he walks straight into it. And in that walk, he discovers something that outlasts all loss, himself. The soul that has loved without fear, without grasping, without illusion. That soul is free, and in freedom it finds peace. That is the Stoic path, that is Stoic love.